at 21 and 10 at 22. You can't walk a mile up in my shoe. I ain't nothing like you. You can't walk a mile up in my shoe. You don't do it.
Alright, what's up, guys? So, in today's video, I will be reviewing the SURRON Light Bee X. I believe this is the 2024. So, yeah, we will just be reviewing how, like, the pros and cons are about the bike, and is it really worth it? Okay, something I do recommend is taking the front fender off. I mean, unless if you're really doing enduro riding, I think you should probably take it off. In my opinion, I just think it looks better. But another thing is, once you first get the bike, the brakes are really touchy. So yeah, you kind of want to warm them up, just like as any other e-bike. Alright guys, so I did get a few upgrades for my bike, like the seat cover. They got seat cover. It is a lot more grippy, and I do recommend, since the stock seat is a little bit small. And I have got a sticker number plate, and I have an alarm right here. I do need to Velcro it though, and I have a new grip, but I just don't really want to mess with the throttle, since it does have an extra layer of plastic that has glue in it. So if you are planning to get a SURRON to build it, you just do want to get the right materials and things to take your grip off. But I will say, one thing that sucks about the bike is stock, actually, which one thing that's kind of nice, but once you get it stock and aren't used to it, it has a sensor for your kickstand, which is good, but at the same time, sometimes it will glitch out, and you will have to, it will take a few times of turning your bike off and on, just because the sensor doesn't know sometimes when the kickstand gets back on. But other than that, there are also a bunch of pros about the bike. The bike is a great bike. It has been my second bike, and I personally love the SURRON. If you're getting a starter bike, I do not recommend the SURRON. The SURRON isn't much for starters who is just getting into the dirt bikes and e-bikes. But if it is other than that, it is a great bike. If you've had a bike before, you know the SURRON is a great bike to buy. Although it is very pricey, but I think personally that it is worth the money. But yeah, if you're looking to build the bike, I think it's a great bike to build, but it will be very expensive. Like, for example, upgrading the controller, battery, or motor, that is a very expensive upgrade, which stock, the SURRON has great speed. It can go from 60 plus miles an hour, which is a great speed. But if you are a young rider, kind of similar to me, I will say it is a very fast bike, and it does have a lot of torque. So you definitely want to be careful about that. And especially, yeah, like I said, warm up the brakes. But also, if you are getting the bike and want to change for a seat cover, it is a little bit challenging if you do not know how, but once you know how, it's actually pretty easy. So if you guys can see, sorry, it's a little blurry, but there are some pins there, and you want to take off those pins. Sorry if the brightness was weird, but yeah, you would want to take off the pins. You can also see how stiff you want your bike and how much suspension you want, which I think that's a really cool thing to have, and it is really nice. And it does have a really loud horn. It might be kind of a little bit hard to hear, but it also, yeah, so my bike's at 70%, and if I were to go in sport mode, which I haven't taken off the governor, but it does have a lot of torque. Like, yeah, this is just a little bit of the throttle, but yeah, full throttle. That's full throttle with the governor that is still on. I do want to take that off eventually, but yeah, and that's also at 70%. One really cool thing about the bike, which I've used many times, is the USB. The USB makes it so you can charge your phone or charge your speaker, whatever you need, while you're riding, which I think that's a really cool thing. Obviously, it does take from the battery, but it takes very little, in my opinion. And another thing I will say is that I think if you ever were to upgrade like something big, I think the Baja light is a great upgrade. It's a good light. It just doesn't really point downwards. It more so points upwards, which that is kind of annoying, and I think it does look a little bit ugly. But also, I think something that's a great hack for the SURRON is to use a rubber band to hold your phone. So yeah, I think that's another great thing. Okay, another thing about the SURRON is it has great suspension. So if you're looking for a bike to go ride in the dirt, it has great suspension. It is a good wheelie bike. I think it is better if you are older to wheelie because it can fit you more and it's easier to control. Whereas other bikes that fit you are better bikes to wheelie. I will say the SURRON has a lot of torque, which is really good for the wheelie, which is really good for wheelies. And also, another thing is the grips will get very shredded. Like, that's a grip right there. Just from it falling down, it could fall down in the grass, and that can just happen. Which, it's just grips, so it doesn't matter too much. And another thing is it has got a great motor and battery. This bike will last you for a long, long time, which all you have to do is plug it in and do a few maintenance things here and there. But other than that, it's a great bike. It does have, if you're looking to ride the RON but don't want to have too much torque, I think you can get the SURRON app and turn down the torque, if I am correct. I'm not for sure. But another thing is that the SURRON has, which because of the torque, if you're looking to ride like back here and you're not as big of a rider, you will want to put it in eco or else it will just pop up. So that is one thing that kind of sucks about the bike. It depends on what you're trying to do. But yeah, I think the SURRON is a great bike and all. It does have its cons. Obviously, I couldn't say all the cons in this video, but other than that, I think the SURRON is a great bike. Peace.
I'm trying to make an M at 21 and 10 at 22. You can't walk a mile up in my shoe. I ain't nothing like you.